If you're currently feeling stuck in your weight loss journey, then please know, first of all, you are not alone. And second of all, I truly believe that I can help. So stick with me so that I can share a little bit more. Weight loss plateaus are incredibly frustrating. And as a professional physique athlete, I've definitely had my fair share of disheartening weight loss plateaus. But understanding the causes of these plateaus and sometimes even weight increases is sometimes half of the battle. So in today's video, I'll be discussing some of the most common causes of weight loss plateaus, as well as some easy strategies that you can use to overcome these hurdles and get you back on track to making progress towards your goals. So let me start by painting the picture for this all too common defeat. Despite your continued efforts in doing everything right, doing hours of cardio, lifting weights, and limiting all of your favorite foods, the scale refuses to budge. In some cases, what started off as rapid decreases on the scale has now slowed down to a crawl, while for others, weight loss has become stagnant, or in some cases, the scale has started to creep back up. In case you weren't aware, it's actually very normal for your weight to fluctuate by as much as 1 to 3% from one day to the next, simply due to our body's hydration status. Now, you'll often hear me refer to this as your total body water, which is science's way of communicating changes in a person's hydration. And while many of us think about hydration in terms of the amount of fluid we consume, our fluid intake is just one of many variables that can influence our total body water. So I want to start with acute inflammation from exercise, as this is one of the main weight influences which no one shared with me when I first embarked on weight loss. Now, if you're somebody who lifts weights, you'll have experienced this acute inflammation. This is a natural and necessary response that occurs in the body as a result of stress placed on the muscles during training. It is an essential part of the body's adaptive response to physical activity, and it plays a crucial role in repair, growth, and adaptation. After a challenging workout, the body releases various inflammatory mediators, including cytokines, chemokines, and prostaglandins. These tiny little molecules are important in regulating this inflammatory response, and they do so by recruiting various immune cells into the muscles, such as neutrophils and macrophages, which help in removing cellular debris and initiating that repair process. This process causes a rise in our total body water as blood flow increases while the body tries to deliver inflammatory mediators and other essential nutrients and oxygen to the muscle tissue. This inflammatory response causes quite a lot of water retention, and how much water retention really depends on the intensity of your training. Now, if you're somebody implementing the key principles of muscle hypertrophy, such as progressive overload, and you're training at a high intensity, then your baseline total body water levels can increase significantly. And in many cases, they will remain elevated until you remove the stimulus and cease training. In fact, we often see this sudden drop in total body water when we go on a vacation or we implement a training deload. So if you've recently ramped up your resistance training, or perhaps you're performing much more intense cardiovascular exercise as part of those weight loss efforts, it's very likely that you've not plateaued at all. It is fluid retention simply masking fat loss. And this is why my team of coaches here at Be a Body rely on several important metrics as a measure of progress, not just scale weight data. So let's now move on to salt, or sodium. Now, this is an electrolyte that plays a crucial role in maintaining our fluid balance within the body. So when you consume high amounts of salt, the sodium concentration in your bloodstream increases. So to maintain osmotic equilibrium, water is drawn into the cells, into the bloodstream to dilute that excess sodium. Now, the hormone known as aldosterone, as well as vasopressin, or also known as ADH, both act on the kidneys to reduce our urine output and conserve water, further contributing to this fluid retention. While these mechanisms help to regulate our blood pressure in the short term, they can also contribute to chronic fluid retention if our salt intake remains consistently high. So what this means is, if one week your weekly food choices contain very little sodium, then your scale weight will reflect that lower total body water measure. However, if the next week's food intake to follow, you try a new stir-fry sauce, or you decide to eat out a few times, perhaps doubling your sodium intake, the scale weight will reflect a much higher total body water level, which could be masking true fat loss. So before calling it quits or making an extreme change to your diet or exercise regimen, consider the influence of sodium. Now, another important player that often disguises true fat loss progress is dietary fiber. Not only does soluble fiber influence our scale weight through its osmotic and water-absorbing properties, it also influences our physical weight as it travels through the gastrointestinal tract largely undigested. So if you've never tracked your fiber intake before, just watch what a 10-gram shift in dietary fiber will do to your weight on the scale when calories and activity are held constant. Believe me when I say it can be a lot. So before giving up on your goals or claiming that you're broken, start closely monitoring your fiber intake for its profound influence on our total body water levels and scale weight. And again, this is one of the key variables that our team of coaches observe with our one-on-one coaching clients. And based on our clients' outcomes, I believe that we've got the right formula. Next, I want to draw your attention to the influence subtle changes to your carb and fat ratio can have on your scale weight. Let me give you a very real-life example. Let's say you've been crushing your weekly calorie targets and you've reached new heights with your protein intake and all seems to be going well. Then you hop on the scale one morning and you just about blow a gasket because you're suddenly up 1.5 pounds. Before claiming fat loss defeat, it's very possible that you've not plateaued at all. It might actually have something to do with the subtle changes to your daily carbohydrate intake. So carbohydrates are primarily stored in the body as glycogen. Glycogen is very hygroscopic, meaning that it has the ability to bind water molecules. So for every gram of glycogen stored in the body, approximately 3 to 4 grams of water are bound to it. This water is stored alongside glycogen molecules within the liver and the muscle cells. So you could nail your daily calories and protein goals and do everything necessary in terms of your training, and your weight could increase seemingly overnight due to a 200 to 300 calorie swing from carbohydrates to fats. Now, I know that there are many other points that I could touch on in this video, but I also want to touch on muscle gain. So if you're somebody that's incorporating strength training into your routine, it's very possible that you're actually gaining muscle while simultaneously losing fat. And thus, it may appear that you have reached a weight loss plateau. This phenomenon is known as body recomposition, and while it's a more inefficient process, we see this happen often. I've experienced it myself, and we see it with clients, and there are a few unique situations where this occurs a little more frequently. So this occurrence is frequently noticed among our female clients with body fat percentages hovering around 20% or higher, which, by the way, is a healthy range applicable for many individuals watching this video. And this stems from a modest surplus of adipose tissue. In these instances, the body not only successfully accomplishes fat loss, but it also meets the requirements for muscle building, utilizing that readily available energy reserve stored as fat. As a result, the journey of shedding fat coincides with the development of new muscle tissue, often giving you the impression of encountering a weight loss plateau. We also observe this phenomenon across various scenarios, including instances where a client that is new to resistance training and among seasoned steady-state lifters who have scaled back their training volumes to maintenance levels. In these cases, when we introduce a new training program tailored with specific exercises and a targeted focus, we often witness significant muscle growth, which can mask fat loss also taking place. So remember, folks, be patient and stay consistent. Weight loss is not always linear, and plateaus are a normal part of that journey. Remember to celebrate your progress, no matter how small, and stay focused on your long-term goals. So if you find yourself stuck in a weight loss plateau, remember that it's not a sign of failure, but rather an opportunity for growth and adaptation. By implementing these strategies and staying committed to your goals, you can break through those plateaus and continue moving forwards towards your healthier, happier you. Now, if you're somebody seeking guidance from a coach, then please look no further than our team of dedicated professionals. We specialize in assisting women of all ages who are navigating the journey towards their health goals. To schedule a complimentary 15-minute consultation with myself or a member of our team, click the links provided in the description below or visit my website for more information.